In this video, we'll explore the concept of tokens, which are essentially variables or dynamic data for your Uncanny Automator recipes. When you create automations, you want recipes that are reusable and can include data about your users and posts. Suppose you have a recipe like this one, where every course completion sends a congratulatory email to the user. Each time it runs, the user and the course might be different, but you want the email to include the course name and the user's name as a way to personalize it. That's where tokens come in. Tokens allow you to include dynamic data, so information about the user or the recipe run or something else right inside your recipes. It's for information that you might not know or be able to specify when you create the recipe, but that you want to use when the recipe runs. If we expand this action to send an email, you can see exactly what tokens look like and how they're defined. Tokens are shown with a gray oval background, like these objects. Instead of hard-coding values, we're setting the from email to come from the site owner. That way, if the email address ever changes, you won't need to change it in your recipes. In the to field, we're saying to send the email to the user that made the recipe run. This might be the student. Automator knows which student completed the course, so it can look up that user's email address. Further down, we're looking up the course title that triggered the recipe run. Then we're using it again in the email body, as well as a system token, the current date. Adding tokens to any field is really easy inside an Automator action. Just look for the asterisk icon to the right of any field. When you click it, you'll see a list of available tokens. The top section of tokens, so common, date, advanced, and modifiers, are always available. If we expand the common section, you'll see tokens related to the user, the site, and the recipe itself. Date tokens are self-explanatory, and in the advanced section, the two most popular tokens allow you to look up user and post meta for a particular ID. In the modifiers section, you can run calculations on values. Then you'll see a triggers section, and this part is unique to each recipe. For each recipe you create, you might want to use data collecting from your triggers in the actions. Like if it's a form submission, you'll want the values that the user submitted in form fields. If we expand this section, that's where you'll find the course title that I used in the email. Other details are also available about the course completion, like the course expiry date, the course URL, and more. Let's take a look at a different type of recipe with another token type called action tokens. In this example, we want to take every new post that gets published, send a copy of that post to OpenAI to generate a summary, then notify the team in Slack about the new post. Let's expand the Slack action though, so we can see how we use data from GPT-4. In the message area here, you can see that we're using the response from the OpenAI action. That's called an action token because it's a value that comes from another action in the recipe. If we click the asterisk to show tokens, then scroll to the bottom, you'll see an action token section. If we expand that, you can see where we got the excerpt token from. It will then post the response from OpenAI in the action. Many of Automator's actions support tokens, and in total, Uncanny Automator has well over 5,000 tokens. You can even capture responses from webhooks as tokens. They're just another kind of action token. In this recipe, suppose we want to award continuing education credits to a user when they submit a form, but only if another system authorizes the user. You can see how the recipe is set to only fire when a form is submitted, send the data to another URL, then add credits to the user. What's missing is the condition for the last action to only run if the user is authorized. The most important piece to using webhook responses in your recipes is to use the send test button in the webhook action here. By sending a test and getting a response, then Automator knows what data and what format to expect back. Now if we go back to set a condition for the recipe by clicking this filter option, we can go into a new rule and look for the webhook action tokens. If we scroll down here, we'll see information about the response. This is just a test, and the available tokens you see will be unique to whatever system you're connecting to the webhooks. This, though, is how we would be able to set up our condition based on what's returned when we send the webhook data. With many thousands of tokens, you can customize your recipes in endless ways. Start simple, run tests, and in no time you'll be creating complex, highly efficient Automator recipes that perfectly fit your needs.